Hello and welcome to our Lehigh College of Business First Year Families Orientation. I want to thank you First Year Families for taking the time to watch this video and for all that you're doing to help your students get off to a great start with their Lehigh experience. So normally this orientation is a session that we hold on campus, and it's a very informal question and answer session, and we're going to try to recreate that on video. We've gathered our Lehigh experts here to answer some of the most commonly asked questions we tend to receive from families. And our experts are from our Lehigh Business Undergraduate Programs Office, so thank you both for joining us. We have Assistant Dean Emily Ford, who oversees advising for our Bachelor of Science in Business and Economics degree students. We also have Associate Director Chiquita Griffin, who oversees our professional development programming starting all the way in the first year with Business One. She also supports our student clubs and organizations, really critical to our leadership here in the college. So if our panel is ready, I think we'll start with our Q&A session. Emily, I'm going to start with you because it seems like in many of these sessions, the families, they know about our four-year business curriculum, but they're often very curious about that foundational first year and what students have to take. So could you tell us a little bit more about the courses that first-year students take during the first year, and particularly what's most critical for that first semester?
Sure thing. So in the first year, students are building their foundation in the College of Business. So usually our students begin in the first semester with Eco 1, Principles of Economics. So almost all students will be taking that course, as well as a calculus course or a prep for calculus, whichever one was recommended by their advisor. They'll also take Biz 1, which is Foundations of Business. That's taken in semester. And then in terms of other classes, some students take these classes in the first semester, some in the second semester. So business communication, business analytics, English 1. There's room for electives, statistics. So take a wide variety of classes. But in terms of the one definitely going to be taking in that first semester, I would focus on Eco 1, Biz 1, and then if they haven't placed out of a math course, then calculus in that first semester.
Okay. So they have a pretty chock full semester, and then these foundational courses. So they start during their first year. I'm hearing the math is something that they should be working on. I'm hearing starting the business communication sequence. They're going to be doing that in the first year. And I also hear starting the business analytics sequence. That's probably going to start at some point during that year.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
And students should also remember that a good chunk of their degree is also courses outside of business. So I know sometimes business students naturally are excited to take the business classes, but we also encourage them to make sure that they have some courses outside of business to even out their schedule as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So we're talking about the classroom. And Chiquita, I have to ask about going outside the classroom. We really have a very strong focus in the College of Business on professional development. Mm-hmm. So could you give us a little bit more perspective on what these students will start experiencing both inside the classroom and outside the classroom as part of our professional development program here in the college?
Sure. Well, we want to make sure that our students are prepared for any opportunities that come their way. And within business, we know that some of that recruiting tends to take place pretty early on. So we make sure that they're getting started right away in Biz 1 in that fall semester of your first year. So in Biz 1, we have a student to professional development track that takes place during the Friday recitation times of the class. And what's really cool within the class, students are working on this great group project, and these Friday sessions are supplementing that. So talking about networking, talking about the online resources that students have in terms of doing career research, as well as the ability to look for jobs and internships. So, this professional development track is really giving the students a taste early on of the resources. It's helping them with their project, and then we hope that they continue this work into their sophomore year in the continuation of the student to professional program, where we want to make sure that students are doing a mock interview, that they're declaring a major, that they're doing an informational interview with an alum. So all of these things built both into the classroom space and co-curricularly to make sure that they're developing the appropriate skills and ready, again, to take advantage of those opportunities, because we know our students are so anxious and excited to get out there, get those internships, get those experiences. So we want to make sure they're ready.
Awesome. And I know you're going to be in those sessions on Fridays for our Biz One students. So we're looking forward to that. So outside the classroom, they're very engaged. Inside the classroom, they're very engaged. And of course, we're very proud of our 4-year advising and faculty mentoring that our students get. So Emily, could you describe a little bit more about the interaction that a first-year student can expect with advising, and maybe how that changes from the first year on as they progress through their degree?
Sure. So in the first year, we're focusing on getting our students onboarded, getting acclimated to Lehigh, to the College of Business. We've been in touch with the first year students all summer, so hopefully they'll be accustomed to working with us. We have 4 advisors that work as professional staff advisors that work with our students throughout their time, working on academic planning, course registration, any types of questions, ways to get connected. And then in the second year, the students declare their major. And when they declare their major, they get a faculty mentor that works with them in addition to their academic advisor. So they're growing their support system at Lehigh. The faculty mentor is going to be someone who can work with them as they're exploring, going more in depth in their major. So any type of questions about career development within the major, what courses to take that may go well with what their professional plans are, or it's just a good connection with a faculty mentor for all of our students. And they'll continue to work with their advisor as well. So in the first year, getting students on board, making sure, understanding the resources that are available to them, and we continue to connect them with resources throughout their 4 years. In the second year, we're working more on the major declaration piece, academic planning within different majors. We then, as their time goes on, they work more closely also with Chiquita and the professional and our Center for Career and Professional Development. So we all work together to help the students, also with the faculty mentors. We're really kind of a large team that works with the students.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned a lot about the resources. Clearly, advisors are resources. Clearly, the faculty teaching the class, having students not being afraid to go talk to the faculty, to drop in on their office hours, whether they're virtual, in person, however it is that the faculty member is doing it. What other resources might be available for students to help them be successful academically?
Yes, Lehigh has a ton of resources available for students. So one of the first ones that we recommend is the Center for Academic Success, which offers tutoring and study skills, and we can gladly connect students with that center. There are also other tutoring centers across campus, like the Math and Writing Center. The math department has some tutoring. So all of these offices offer that tutoring support, and students will be able to engage with these tutors virtually in this fall semester. There are also a ton of resources, like, as I mentioned, the Career Center, the Counseling and Psych Services, lots to help students find their way through our Dean of Students office as well for student engagement. We're definitely here to help.
I get that sense, and that's really strong. No matter what the modality, students, you can, and families, that we're here to support you. Now, speaking of getting involved, that brings to mind experiential learning, and I know that's a big part of the Lehigh business experience. So, Chiquita, I'm going to turn it over to you. Can you tell us a little bit more about how students, even in the first year, can get more engaged with experiential learning, and maybe some of the things they could be looking forward to as they start thinking about their time at Lehigh, whether they're remote, whether they're here? What more would you share?
Sure, and experiential learning is so important because it's part of how our students are able to make informed decisions. So we want them to start off, again, from day one. One great way to get started is joining some of our different clubs and organizations. We have a very robust line of Lehigh business clubs. So every academic department has a club associated with it. We have some cultural clubs, as well as different industries. So a wide range of interest that our students have shared and turned into clubs and organizations. And let me tell you, they are amazing in terms of the programming they're doing, bringing speakers to campus, providing those professional development sessions, resume critiques. There's even some clubs where you do have to go through an interview process to join. So, we again provide that support for our students. But, if you think you have a potential interest, let's say in business information systems and want to learn more, the club is such a great place to start to learn more about the major, the career paths available. From there, working with our Center for Career and Professional Development, a lot of times the next steps is an externship. So that's typically a short shadowing opportunity for a student. We engage our alumni community as volunteers to host students in those experiences. And again, it's a great time to just see, do I like this, right? Do I think it's interesting? There's not really a great way to know what the day in the life of looks like better than being able to go and shadow. So it's a valuable experience, whether the answer is I loved it or I hated it, because it's helping, again, to inform our students and their decision-making process. Of course, we have internships. We have students doing internships both domestically and abroad in a typical situation. So, that study abroad component can be another way that our students are gaining that experiential learning. And then even the class projects that they're doing, those discussions with the faculty to find opportunities, right? I always tell students, everything counts. It doesn't have to be this official internship for you to be gaining experience or learning more about the field.
So now I'm going to, I remember in a lot of these sessions, by this point in the session, the parents and families are very excited about what Lehigh has to offer their students. And there's always that question, how do they find out about things? So Emily, I'm going to start with you, okay? I have a first-year student. My student has a question, and I want to encourage them to reach out to their advisor. Where do they go? How do they get involved? How do they get involved with their advisor?
Sure. So the easiest way I would say is we can schedule an appointment with your advisor. And this fall we're doing virtual appointments through Zoom, and it's worked out really well. It's nice. We are able to share our screens with students. Students can share their screens with us, so we can feel more connected. So I would encourage the students to make an appointment with their advisor to start, and then we could determine what the next best step is for the students. We try and kind of bring it all together for them. This is something I thought of that I forgot to mention earlier when I was mentioning academic planning. Students have a lot of interests, and there's a lot available to them, as you can tell, whether it's minors, study abroad, dual degrees, double majors, you name it. We will work with students to develop a plan in order for them to achieve their goals, because I know it can be overwhelming when there's so many different opportunities. So I would say they should start with their advisor, and then we work closely with the faculty mentors as well. So if it's something that maybe it would be better to speak with a faculty member about, then we would transfer them over to their faculty mentor as well.
I know a lot of first year students, not a lot, but sometimes they come in seeking to plan their entire 4-year academic schedule. And I know we often say, get through Biz 1, you learn a lot about different functions in that class. Sometimes you learn that there might be areas you didn't even know you were interested in that you might want to pursue. So I think Biz 1 is also a great foundational leverage for them to start thinking about what their plan might be. Really, wouldn't you say planning, probably academic planning starts in earnest more in the sophomore into junior year, in terms of the intricacies of the 4-year package. But you're definitely there for those first year students. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Chiquita, I want to be in clubs. I don't know what the clubs are. How do I get involved in all these wonderful extracurricular or co-curricular activities that Lehigh has to offer? Where do I find out about things?
Yeah, the first is check your email. I know students always talk about how many emails they get, but keep an eye out for the Week at a Glance coming from the undergraduate programs office every Sunday, 6 p.m. So it's like clockwork. And that email is exactly what it sounds like, the upcoming Week at a Glance. So it's talking about all the upcoming events. Advising will often include important information in that email. Departments put announcements in that email. So we do our best to take it all and put it in one place for students. We're also going to have a Lehigh Business Club Expo on September 8th. So this virtual expo will be a great opportunity for first-year students to be able to visit with all of the different Lehigh business clubs and orgs, and get on the mailing and sign-up list right then and there. And again, your academic departments, reaching out to faculty, start talking to upper class students, talking with your advisor. You can't take any of that for granted in terms of how it's going to help you find out what's going on and about different opportunities and experiences that people have had.
Absolutely. And I will also, the only thing I can add to all of that is we have a really great website. I know, Chiquita, a lot of the clubs and organizations post their events on there. I know advising has nice links on there to the advisor track system and other kinds of information about connecting with your advisors. So simply go to the main website, go down to current students, and you should be right there in the website that we have all of our announcements and events on there. So it's all posted in Eastern Daylight Time or Eastern Standard Time, but we assume that everybody can try to accommodate their schedules to join us at the times that we have available for you. So I think we've hit on a lot of the main questions that we get from first-year families. Could you have any closing thoughts about things we haven't mentioned that you think is very important for us to, as we wrap up our call?
I think we covered everything. And just know that if there is something that we didn't cover or you're wondering about, you can always reach out to us. The businessadvising@lehigh.edu, that's our email address. Someone will get back to you, point you in the right direction if it happens to not be us. But that's one way you can connect with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for the students, I look forward to seeing you in Biz One. And again, our office is here as a resource for you.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I'm going to say I'm also going to be instructing in Biz One and working with Chiquita and alongside our advisors. And we're very much looking forward to meeting you. Some of the first year students will be meeting their faculty in Biz One in the classroom. Some of them are going to be in remote format. But whatever it is, we want to get to know your student. We want to welcome them to our Lehigh family. And we want to thank you for all that you've done to get them this far in their education and for entrusting them to take care of them as they start to their professional road to development here in the Lehigh Business School. So thank you very much. We're looking forward to a great fall semester. Take care.
All right, thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.